Tuesday morning at the PettyMuseum here in Level Cross.
Back to try it again, see what happened this past week.
Well, a day late. We're waiting on the younger people, you know, but we'll try to go over this thing. Quite a race, wasn't it?
I thought it was a good road race. From the standpoint, there was no cautions. Everybody could kind of figure their strategy out to begin with, and as the race progressed, the better cars was up front, and there wasn't nothing to mess them up. The 99 was the one that made a pit stop, and that kept him from being up there with the top three. And those were the very best cars. But then the 45, I think, ran fourth. He was good. 48 was fifth or something.
Yeah, he come up and challenged. Yeah, it was.
And,
it was. Well, the NASCAR boys come to the top, didn't they? You know, so they had the out-of-towners come in.
That one guy from New Zealand or whatever, I think he wound up 10th, which wasn't bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he stood up pretty good, but
and we had
it didn't take long to determine that the 34 was the best car. And
yeah, but I don't know how good he was at the end of the race compared to the 9 car or the 99. The 99 lost about 6 or 7 seconds on his pit stop to the other cars, and he never was able to make it up. But he stayed consistent with them. So if he'd come out of the pits with them, it would have been a 3-car race instead of a 2-car race.
Me looking at it, I believe the 34 just had it in control and kind of could do what he wanted to.
I think he was, the last few laps, I think he was just trying to be careful
and
make sure that he stayed on the
his
race
breath.
track. Yeah. But you know, the 42 driver, that boy's from Germany and stuff, and he started out way in the back, qualified terrible, and kept getting better and better. And somehow or another he got a lap down. But at the end of the race, he had to pull over to let the 9 car get by him because he was running quicker than the 9 car.
Well, that's what I was saying, but I believe the 34 got by him on his own to put him a lap down, and then, of course, he had to pull over and let the 9 go.
Right.
But it was late in the race.
He ran a long time in front of him. And the 43 car had made the first pit stop. He'd been in the back, and he moved up to, say, the middle of the field. Looked like he had a pretty decent car. But then he lost first gear. So, you know.
Which is unusual for this.
Very, very unusual. And what happened, he started out running 1 minute and 33 seconds. Then he got to running 1 minute and 32 seconds.
After he tore the transmission
and by the end of the race, he was running 1 minute and 31 seconds. So he found out how to drive the car without using the first gear. It wasn't quick enough, don't get me wrong, but it was so much better than what he started out.
But another unusual thing happened too, Richard, on this car was the 8 car evidently lost an engine, you know, and that's unusual too.
I thought he had brake problems. That was his particular problem to begin with.
Okay,
because he went off the track a couple times, and he kept locking up the front brake.
Maybe it was, but I thought they said they was hearing a skip or something.
Then later on he might have developed some problem. But it was kind of a race that I like to see, from the standpoint that the best cars didn't get out strategied or somebody make a mistake and get them in trouble or have a caution at the end of the race and somebody slip by them. The best cars ran up front all day, and they wound up running there. So that's the kind of race that we used to run. The better cars won the race.
Well, it's kind of like you saying years ago they turned us loose, and the first one there was the best car and won the race. And that's the way I seen it. I thought the 30 car, he was kind of aggressive the first 3 or 4 laps, and once he got out front, buddy, he had it down. I thought he was awful good, you know. And
he drove almost a flawless race from that standpoint.
And
he definitely deserved to win the race for sure.
But I'm sure if you was there on every corner, there was some spin outs. You know, his teammates spun out, and I said, "Oh Lord!"
A couple of times.
He's going to cause a caution that'll cause him some drama.
That's what I got concerned at the end of the race. That everything got separated, everybody was pretty well where I thought they needed to be, and then first thing you know, they have a caution, and then somebody that's running 4th or 5th winds up winning the race. But they didn't have a caution for some reason. And on something else, they run a race and didn't have no rain. They had rain Saturday, but it's one of the first races we've run lately that we didn't have a rain.
Wonder who NBC paid off.
I don't know. They got to the right one this time.
Okay, yeah. But it was a track that it was just laid out on flat ground. You know what I mean, Richard? No ups and downs.
Yeah, right.
And this week they go. I don't think me and you are in our plans to go to Watkins Glen, but that's uphill, downhill, round curves, and through the woods and all that stuff.
Of all the road courses that we run, I think, in my mind anyway, I'm not a road racer, but I think that's what I think a road race ought to be. It's something like the way it is in New York, the way they got it up and downhill, around the curves, blind spots, good spots. So it's a real road race. And if you've noticed over a period of time, when we used to go to California, then and run out there on the road course,
Riverside.
No, what we're running now, Little Secret, no,
Sonoma.
Anyhow, Sonoma.
Yeah.
A lot of times, Cup guys win a race there, but then when the Cup guys go to New York, then the road racers really show up. So that's the reason I think it's a real road course.
Well, I think I made the comment last week that our NASCAR regulars better step up and be road racers, and they were at Indy for sure.
6 or 7 races on road course.
Yeah,
we're going to turn into a road course circuit.
They better be road racers.
Yeah,
but I mentioned Riverside. You were something else at Riverside. If we didn't break, we was going to win the race out there. I say we. It was you driving, but golly, it was a different.
It was a good road course too, because it had long straightaways, but it had a bunch of backs and forth,
uphill, down the hill, switchbacks,
a couple of blind spots. So made it pretty dadgum interesting.
We got the road race coming up, and then we got the big one coming up at Daytona that's going to decide. And this week really shook the standings up, Richard.
Yeah, I think there were 13 winners this year so far. So there's 13 that's automatically
locked
in the playoffs. But then you got those last 3 that, 3 spots. But you got 5 or 6 people that can win a race that's back there. The 9 car, he's capable of winning. A couple other cars back there, they're capable of winning a race and getting in. Some of them might not make it by points, but the 34 probably wouldn't have made it by points, but he wound up winning the race, and everything worked out perfect for them.
Well, yeah, but he no matter what you want to say, the 34 shined at Indianapolis, and he won the race. He's in the chase for the championship, and he'll stand out this week too, because he ain't got nothing to prove now, but go win a race.
Right. Then he can run like what he wants to. Out there, he ran like he wanted to, but he still had to be kind of careful.
Yeah.
And when they go to New York, he can do anything he wants to, and it still makes the playoff.
But I still hope our 43 don't tear out a transmission. I wish they could qualify a little bit better, but I believe Rocky in the 42 car. I believe he learned a little something.
Yeah. By the end of the race, his times were as good as the leaders. So I think he learned a whole lot, and I think when we go back to New York, I think he'll have this is the first time he's drove these cars too, so he's having to learn that. So I think he'll be pretty competitive up there.
I hope so, and it gives me and you more enthusiasm to watch and keep up with it. I
get more enthusiasm watching it if our cars are doing better.
Yeah, I do too, but we're looking forward to it, and then I think me and you are going to try to go to Daytona.
We're going to make Daytona
for the old people, so we'll take that in and hope. I still want it to be a dry race at Watkins Glen and keep the excitement down for everybody. So we'll just hold our breath and look for a good race Sunday.
They'll probably have some cautions up there, because there's 2 or 3 places you can't get by spinning out and still get back on the track.
Not hitting something.
Yeah, right.
Okay, well, at Indianapolis, Logano tried to cause a couple of cautions. He was pretty wild to settle down. He must have hurt his car, then he settled down.
Yeah,
but,
I think he tore it all up pretty good.
All
right, we'll get ready and watch the race Sunday and get ready to go to Daytona.
We hope so.
Okay.
Be safe.